Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's segment of At the Table with Yeshua. Today is Sunday, May 16th, and I wanted to come on here and share with you what it is the Lord had to say to me on yesterday when I was in prayer. I do want to kind of take the time out to say something in between that time. I know I haven't done a video in a while. It's not because the Lord hasn't been dealing with me. He's actually moved me to another assignment. And I do apologize about the delay for those of you that have been asking questions. And no, I didn't leave you hanging high and dry. I'm sorry. My life is very, very busy. So I haven't really had the chance to come on here like I hoped to really explain, the fact that Yahweh had moved me to another assignment, and that basically me doing the weekly videos, that wasn't what he had assigned me to do anymore. Of course, when he gives me a word and he tells me to share it via social media, then I will. But for the most part, he has really been dealing with me regarding the current assignment that I am on. So I did just want to take time out for that. For those of you that have asked questions on the videos in the comment section, I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for your questions. Of course, any of the content that is discussed in the videos, any questions you want to take it up straight to the King, straight to Yahweh, straight to Yeshua, because I can only deliver the message that he gives me. Of course, I can ask him questions, but it's really a thing of where each person needs to go to God for themselves, Yahweh for themselves, and just ask him the questions that they want answered, regardless of how small they may think the question is, or whatever the case. God always wants us to come to him. Yahweh always wants us to come to him regarding any questions, anything whatsoever. I've seen the questions. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at responding. I don't want you to think that I've ignored it. I haven't. I saw one person ask a question about the COVID vaccine and the fact that their loved ones had already taken it, and what's going to happen to their loved ones that have already taken it, I guess spiritually. My answer to that is seek Yahweh for the answer. There is nothing that I can tell you, about that, because I don't know how everything is going to pan out for those that have taken it, and they had, previously given their lives over to Yahweh. I don't know what the end result is going to be. I am not the one to ask for that. You want to take that question directly to the source. He is the only one that can give you the right answer pertaining to that. I saw someone else comment and say they wish they could hear from Yahweh the way that I do. Yahweh is no respecter of persons. At the end of the day, he wants us all to press in and seek him. And really, it's just about availing yourself to him. Really, I know all of our lives are busy. We all have different things going on. But there is a time where you must set aside time to spend time with him in his presence. I cannot stress that enough. Again, God is no respecter of persons. He wills it for each and every one of us to know him on an intimate level. He's that kind of God. It doesn't matter big or small, the issue, the problem, the question, whatever the case may be, even if you just want to talk to him to vent, he is always there to listen. So anything that you have questions about, anything you have concerns about, you take it straight to him and wait on him to answer your question. There are so often times where I have a question about something, and of course I take it directly to him because he is the only one that can answer it correctly. You know what I mean? When it comes to receiving answers from people, there are times in there when they may throw their opinions in there, and you really just have to be careful as to who you are listening to, who you are hearing from. That's why it's so important to get to know Yahweh on an intimate and personal level. So then that way, if you have a question, you go directly to him and he will answer it. It may not be within that very second. I mean, or it may be, there have been plenty of times when I'm spending time in prayer with Yahweh, and it is an open dialogue. We are having a conversation, just like two people, having an open conversation. I'll ask him a question, he'll answer it, he'll say something to me, I'll respond. It's just an open dialogue, an open conversation. So if you are having a hard time pressing in and really going beyond the veil, then you ask Yahweh for help. That's what he's there for. That's what he told me initially when I was having issues pressing in, because, he knew my heart. He knew I wanted an intimate relationship with him. And one day I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it, and I asked him to help me. I was having a really tough time pressing in. So he laid it on my mind to play some praise and worship music. And I mean, not every praise and worship song ministers to every person. Everyone has their own set praise and worship music that just takes them right there in 2.5 seconds. I'm a kid. But no, if there's a praise and worship song that will have you really just reaching out to Yahweh, really just have you pressing in to praise and worship him on another level, then you listen to that while you're in prayer and you ask Yahweh for help, or maybe he'll give you another idea. That was his idea for me, because he knew that I desperately wanted to press in. I desperately wanted to hear from him. I desperately wanted that connection with him. And I remember my first time pressing in with him, I could see this white veil, and it was almost like a wind was, wafting it back and forth. And it was, and it was Yahweh telling me to go beyond the veil. And once I did, I saw, some of the things that he was showing me. I saw the Ark of the Covenant. I saw basically his essence fill the room. It looked like smoke, but I know it was his presence, and so that was just, the start of me really starting to see what he was showing me, and me going beyond the veil. And it led from one to another, vision after vision, experience after experience. And so I really want to encourage each and every person that would ever tune into this video, please just press into him. If you're having issues pressing in, if you have a lot of distractions in your mind and you just can't seem to press in and to focus in on Yahweh and really getting to know him, then you take the time out, you avail yourself in prayer. Some people, it's on their knees. For some people, it's on their faces. For me personally, it was on my back. I laid across my bed on my back with my face facing up towards the ceiling, and others may say towards heaven. And I really just allowed him to just, come and join me in that atmosphere. So if you have any questions about the content in the videos, again, go to Yahweh himself and ask those questions. If you have any questions whatsoever, if there's any type of confusion, if anything, go to Yahweh himself. I can only give you what he's given to me. I am not some person with a lot of clout or anything of that sort. I am just simply a woman that is willing to be used by God in whatever capacity he sees fit. And I want to be open to hearing exactly what it is he has to say to me. And if he gives me a word for others, that is the word that I am charged to give others. As far as the COVID vaccine, I did hear strongly from the Lord for us Christians not to take it because it was not sent by him. It was orchestrated by the enemy. For those of you that need more information on that, maybe this is, your first time tuning in, please refer back to that previous video where it talks about the COVID vaccine. It is some heavy information in there. Mainly, it is a warning from Yeshua, warning from Yahweh. For those of you that don't know, I refer to God, Jesus, as Yeshua, Yahweh. He told me the other day, he's slowly breaking me out of calling him Yeshua. He told me to call him Yahweh because he said it's all encompassing. So if you hear me say Yahweh, I am referring to, as the Christians know him, as Jesus, as God. But again, any questions that you have, take it directly to the King, okay? I'm not, I am a messenger. I am one of his messengers. But again, any questions that you have, take it directly to him. He is the one that can answer you best. He will give you the perfect answer along with instruction. If there's a thing of where he needs you to pray about a particular thing, he'll instruct you to pray. If he needs you to fast, he'll instruct you to fast. God, Yahweh, is a God of instructions. He is a God of divine order. So trust and believe when there is something that he wants us to address. Of course, for those of us that are his messengers, we address it. If we don't, we'll get in trouble with him. And I'm not trying to be on that page with Yahweh. I'm not. So I wanted to share with you all the message that Yahweh gave to me to share with you all about. Okay, so I was in prayer on Saturday, early afternoon, and the Lord started dealing with me about different things. He, as he usually does, give me certain things to say, whether it's to an individual, whether it's to his people, or whether or not it's something I'm just supposed to journalize at that particular moment until he allows me to either voice it or use it in another platform. And I can't get into details or specifics about that, but just know that the truth, excuse me, Yahweh's truth will be revealed. It will. There are some things that he's been touching with me about in prayer. I can't expound on it, but just know that day by day, he is revealing the truth across the board, not just to me, but to fellow believers, to fellow messengers. He is revealing the truth because it is time now for the truth to be revealed. So part of today's message is going to be in two parts. So please tune in for the next video as well. Well, I might just combine it into one. I think I'm going to try to do that. As long as the space on the video will allow me to do so. But so I'm just going to jump right in. This message is for New York. For those of you that know me, that's where I'm from. That's my hometown. I've lived down south for a while, but ultimately New York is where I'm from. It's where I was born. So Yahweh gave me this message to send to New York. And he said, among some of the other things he was saying, he said, they need me. He said, there's another 9/11 coming. So New York, I need you to be on watch. I need you to be on alert. I need you to be ever so prayerful that there is another 9/11 coming. And as many of you all that know, especially if you lived in New York during that time, you know what the first 9/11 did. It devastated our city and everything else. It was a day of great loss, great sorrow. It was a day of mourning. It was really it was heartbreaking. It was so heartbreaking. I remember that day like it was yesterday. So in In the message, Yeshua said, there's another 9/11 coming. He said, be on guard, brace for impact. He said, listen to me, fret not. He said, I will protect them if they turn their lives over to me. He said, now listen, now anytime Yahweh sends out a warning, he sends out instructions to go with that warning. So it's either you do what Yahweh is telling you to do, or you face whatever is coming in that warning. He says, I will protect them if they turn their lives over to me. He said, stop worshiping idol gods and serve me. He said, I am a jealous God and I will have no gods before me. He said, it's time for my judgment. And then he went on to say, they do not fear me. When referencing New York, he said, they do not fear me. He said, listen, take heed before it's too late. He said, pray to me and I will release my protection. He said, ignore the warning. Listen to this now. Ignore the warning and judgment will follow. So New York, Yahweh says this. He said, listen, take heed before it's too late. Anytime Yahweh allows something to happen or judgment to come down, he always sends forth a warning to give everyone an opportunity to get it right or to do what he is instructing you to do. If you do not take heed to that warning, then judgment will follow. Judgment will follow. Now, for those of you that may think this is a joke, for those of you that think that this may be a hoax or this is something to laugh about or you don't want to take it seriously, trust me. If you thought the first 9/11 was bad, you do not want to anger God, because when his judgment comes down, there is no man that can stop him. Not one. Not one. So please listen and take heed. Please do. Please listen and take heed to what Yahweh is saying. He is not playing. Time is winding up. These days are getting shorter. And it is time now for all to serve him. It's time now for all to seek him. If you choose not to, then you will be on the receiving end of Yahweh's judgment. And that is just the way that it's going to be. Unfortunately, for those that choose not to listen, you choose not to take heed, then unfortunately you open yourself up to be on the receiving end of Yahweh's judgment. Okay, now that was Yahweh's warning to New York. Now I have another one to deliver. This one is for Israel. We've all known the different challenges that Israel has faced down through the years, the different conflicts and everything that's going on over there, and that's still happening. This is what Yahweh wanted me to tell you, Israel. Okay, so he says, listen to me. Stop fighting amongst yourselves. He says, now I got to give a little bit of background information about this because, and this is a heavy conversation. This is a heavy topic because so oftentimes throughout history, the world and society has been taught to believe that there is only one particular Jewish person, or they only look one certain type of way. And I'm going to let you know that God's children, Israel, come in all colors. Come in all colors. All colors. And all of his children, Israel, that are entitled to that land should be welcomed with open arms. Should be welcomed with open arms. That is the will of Yahweh. It is not for just a certain looking group of Jewish people. Now, you may have some of those that may get up in arms at me even saying that. But at the end of the day, God didn't create just one particular looking group of Jewish people. Okay, now I'm gonna dig in here based off of the revelation that Yahweh gave me. Okay, now he knows it best because one, he created all of us. Okay, two, he established his covenant with Abraham, who was the father of that nation. Okay, so I need you all to listen to what Yahweh is saying when it comes to Israel, and listen intently. Okay, he says, listen to me. Stop fighting amongst yourselves. And the reason why Yahweh is touching on this is because when I was in prayer with him and the different things that I've heard down through the years, when a certain group of Jewish people go over to Israel, they're not received with open arms. They're not received of the way they should be in sharing the inheritance of being a Jewish descendant because of the color of their skin. Okay. They are actually being mistreated over there in Israel. And it's time now for all of that to come to an end. So if you are a Jewish man or woman and you are hating your Jewish brother or sister because of the color of their skin, you are in the wrong. It does not matter how you feel about that nationality of a person. It doesn't matter how you may think that they are beneath you. At the end of the day, Yahweh created them. They are a descendant just like you are, and they are entitled to the same things that you are entitled to. It is their birthright as well. Yahweh says, listen to me. Stop fighting amongst yourselves. I am sending descendants of Abraham to you in all colors. This is what Yahweh said. He said, they are mine. Treat them like family. Again, this is what Yahweh is saying. He said, end racism. So I know that this is something that a lot of Jewish people don't like to talk about because, growing up, in New York and growing up in the South as well, I've seen different Jewish families, and most of the time they look a certain color and they look a certain way, and that's that. Because overall around the world, that's how they would have you to believe that the Jewish people look. But Yahweh says, I am sending descendants of Abraham to you. This is to Israel. In all colors, whether they be black, whether they be Asian, Hispanic, whatever color they are, is the color that Yahweh made them. And they are entitled to the same land and the same promises that you're entitled to. One is not above the other in Yahweh's eyes. He said, end racism. So if you are discriminating against your brother and sister that come from the same heritage and bloodline that you do, shame on you. Stop it now before Yahweh gets involved and handles you himself. He said, treat them like family, end racism. I just wanted to reiterate that again. This is what Yahweh is saying. And I asked him, I said, Abba, what will happen if they don't end racism? He said, I will not protect them. The attacks will keep on coming. This is what Yahweh is saying. He said, I will not protect them if they do not end racism in Israel amongst the descendants of Abraham. Be it black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Indian, whoever. If you are a descendant of Abraham, you have Jewish blood. You come from a Jewish lineage. You are all entitled to the same promises that Yahweh promised Abraham. You are not to cheat your brother or sister that is entitled to the same things that you are, just because the color of their skin. Yahweh says they are his, meaning you all together are entitled to the promises that Yahweh made Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, he says, I will not protect them if they don't end racism. I will not protect them. The attacks will keep on coming. He says, pray for love. You all are one people. You are all one people. And I asked him, I said, Abba, if they listen to your instructions. And then he finished off the sentence saying they will win. They will win. You all will win if you listen to what Yahweh is saying. It is time out for racism amongst God's people. He is not pleased with that. He said, this is what Yahweh says, listen, I cannot bless a divided house. I cannot bless a divided house. So if you are going to war with your brothers and your sisters that share in that same lineage as you do because of the color of their skin, Yahweh cannot bless a divided house. He cannot bless the nation of Israel until you start doing what it is that Yahweh has told you to do. It is time out for the racism. This is something that we have swept under the rug for years. This is something that people don't even like to discuss when it comes to the nation of Israel. And Yahweh knows it best. One, because he's seen it, and two, because he's experienced it. And if you don't believe me, ask him for yourself. He said, I cannot bless a divided house. He said, unity, I require it. He said, they will not be blessed if they don't listen. He said, I didn't give that land to just one color of people. I gave it to all descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, time out for games. Okay, now this is where we'll probably open the floor up for a lot of debate from a lot of the Jewish rabbis, for a lot of the followers of Judaism. Let me tell you something. I am not one for debates. I am not. I am a messenger. I give the message exactly how Yahweh gives it to me. If you have an issue with anything I'm saying, you take it directly to him. You will not silence me. You will not bully me in one shape, fashion, or form, because if you come for me, honey, you better be fully prepared. I'm just letting you know. Now, at the end of the day, Yahweh says, time out for games. He says Abraham was black. He says his ways please me, which is why I made a covenant with him. Now, for those of you that want to argue and talk about what color Abraham was or was not, I am not here for that. Yahweh told me what color Abraham was, and he did it so the truth can be made known. There has been a lot of falsehood when it comes to the Christian religion and Judaism. A lot of falsehood, a lot of false doctrines that have gone down and been passed down from generation to generation about the colors, the nationalities, and everything of that sort. A lot of falsehood, a lot of false doctrines that Yahweh is bringing to light now. He is bringing this information to light so that way we will be in the know. Abraham was black. He said his ways please me, which is why I made a covenant with him. And this is not to divide. This is just so the truth can be made known. So for those of you that are of Jewish descent, please know that even though the color of your skin may not reflect your black heritage, my brother, my sister, you are a descendant of a black man, a black Jewish man, Abraham. Now, we're going to get into the meat of this. Now, okay. Now, basically, I was having, like I said, a dialogue with Yahweh. Just basically talking to him about what I have heard and what I've learned about the history between Islam and Judaism. And I've, heard all down through the years, quite sure some of you have heard basically about the origins of it and how it got started and everything else. So we're going to get into the meat of this. This is strictly what Yahweh was dealing with me about in prayer. This is what he was telling me. So we're going to discuss it because it needs to be made known. Okay, so Islam through Ishmael, which, as you know, that was Abraham's son, one of his sons that he had by Hagar, who was